Introduction. Welcome to an e-module on high risk factors for femicide. How to use this e-module. The content of this e-module is delivered using audio narration and text on the screen. Use the previous and next button in the bottom right corner of your screen to navigate through the course. You can use the menu on the right top to return to any previously viewed slides. This course should take approximately 30 minutes to complete. You can exit at any time and return later without losing your progress. Click on the Start button to begin. Trigger warning. This e-module may include topics such as abusive relationships, sexual assault, domestic violence, and physical violence. This content may be difficult for some viewers. Taking care of your safety and well-being is encouraged. Contact Good to Talk at 1-866-925-5454. They have various ways they can help. Self-care strategies include connecting with a friend, spending time in nature and sunlight, and having a nap. Section 1. Recognize. In this section, we will cover 3 major topics. What is femicide? What is overkilling? What are the top 10 high-risk factors for femicide? What is femicide? Difference between homicide and femicide. Homicide is a general term for the killing of one person by another. This can happen for different reasons, such as arguments, crimes, or accidents, and can involve individuals of any gender. Femicide refers to the intentional killing of a woman or girl because of her gender. Femicide is often linked to intimate partner violence or family power struggles, where the motive is about controlling or punishing the victim because of her gender. What is femicide? Femicide is rarely an isolated event. More often, these killings are the result of ongoing, targeted, and escalating violence against women, typically perpetrated by men or, in some cases, by other women acting on behalf of the men in their lives. The 2 main categories of femicide are intimate femicide and non-intimate femicide. Intimate femicide occurs when a woman or girl is killed by someone she knows closely, often within a romantic or family relationship. Non-intimate femicide occurs when a woman or girl is killed by someone with whom she does not have a close personal relationship. Examples of intimate femicide: murder by a partner or spouse, intimate partner violence; murder in the name of family honor by members of her own family; killing by her husband and/or in-laws over dowry disputes; killing of baby girls, female infanticide, and selective abortion of female fetuses due to a cultural preference for sons; killing by family members for converting to another religion. Examples of non-intimate femicide: murders of indigenous women and girls; hate crimes because of gender identity or sexual orientation; accusations of witchcraft leading to murder; targeted killings of women during wars; women murdered by serial killers; other killings linked to organized crime, drug trade, and sex trafficking. Roots in patriarchy. Femicide can trace its roots back to patriarchy, which is a social system where men hold more power, control, and authority than women. In patriarchal systems, boys and girls grow up to believe that men are superior to women. This unequal power dynamic can lead to situations where men feel entitled to control women's lives, decisions, and bodies. Both in families and society, men may also control important resources like money, property, or legal rights. This control can limit women's options and make them dependent on men, leaving them vulnerable to abuse and violence. Understanding how patriarchal power structures and legislation contribute to femicide is crucial for addressing this issue. Power and legislation. In a patriarchal society, men may hold high-level jobs, run governments, or be in charge of important decisions, including making laws that favor them. For example, laws might not criminalize family violence, including marital rape, or might have lenient punishments for the abuser. This normalizes violence against women, making it seem acceptable or inevitable in certain situations. Women may also face barriers to seeking help or legal options due to fear of retaliation, stigma, or lack of support from authorities. Gender roles. Patriarchal norms can dictate how people should behave based on their gender. This can limit choices and opportunities for both men and women, reinforcing traditional ideas about what is considered normal or acceptable behavior. For men, messages that equate masculinity with aggression or control can normalize violence against women as a way to assert authority or punish perceived transgressions. Women in patriarchal societies may face barriers to education, employment, and leadership positions. Women may face restrictions on their mobility, education, and employment opportunities, reinforcing dependency on male relatives and partners. This dependency can make it difficult for women to leave abusive relationships or seek help. Justification of violence. In some societies, patriarchal norms often normalize or justify violence against women, especially in situations where they defy traditional roles or expectations. Women may be unfairly blamed for provoking such violence, fostering a victim-blaming mindset that shifts accountability from the perpetrator and perpetuates cycles of abuse. Families may feel pressured to enforce these societal norms to maintain their social standing or reputation within the community. This pressure can perpetuate cycles of violence and make it difficult for women to break free from harmful practices. Femicide has deep and far-reaching consequences for both families and society. The sudden and violent nature of femicide can be traumatic for surviving family members, especially children, who may have lost their primary caregiver. They may suffer from long-term psychological effects. Besides families, society is also affected. Femicide reinforces and perpetuates the normalization of violence against women, undermining efforts to achieve gender equality. The threat of femicide can instill fear in women and girls, limiting their freedom, opportunities, and participation in society. According to the World Health Organization, WHO, the majority of femicide cases are committed by current or former partners. These incidents often involve ongoing abuse in the home, threats, intimidation, sexual violence, or situations where women have less power or fewer resources than their partners. International students in intimate relationships. International students who come from patriarchal societies may experience significant changes and challenges in Canada, where gender norms and societal structures are often different. Forming romantic relationships can be a new experience, potentially conflicting with the cultural norms of their home country. For instance, men and women might have different expectations about who should initiate dates, how they should behave during the date, and what roles they should assume in a relationship. Misunderstanding cultural cues may lead to disrespectful or controlling behaviors, increasing the risk of conflict and violence. Trigger warning: the content of this section may be difficult for some viewers. Care for your safety and well-being is encouraged. What is overkilling? What is femicide? Overkilling in the context of femicide, especially within intimate partner violence, refers to instances where the killer inflicts excessive, often brutal, force far beyond what would be necessary to cause death. Examples include multiple stab wounds, severe beating, or repeated gunshots, indicating a high level of brutality and rage. These attacks are often prolonged, involving sustained violence over an extended period of time. Contributing factors. Several factors can contribute to abuse escalating into overkilling. Sense of entitlement. Societal and cultural norms that perpetuate male dominance and female submissiveness can contribute to the mindset that justifies extreme violence against women who challenge or defy these norms. The perpetrator may feel entitled to control their partner's behavior and use violence as a means to enforce this control. Trigger event. Intimate partner violence often follows a pattern of escalating violence. A specific event can trigger overkilling as the perpetrator feels their control slipping away. A trigger event could be the woman attempting to leave the relationship or having left the relationship. The woman seeking help for abuse. Situations that affect his self-esteem or self-image, such as losing a job or suffering a real or perceived humiliation. Psychological issues underlying mental health issues, such as untreated mental illness, personality disorders, or uncontrolled substance use, can intensify violent tendencies and contribute to overkilling. Perpetrators may have a history of trauma or exposure to violence, which may influence their behavior and responses to conflict. It is important to remember that even though mental health may sometimes play a role in femicide, many people living with mental health issues are never violent. The top 10 high-risk factors for femicide in intimate relationships. Femicide is preventable. In fact, it is one of the most preventable forms of murder. Certain high-risk factors can help law enforcement, the justice system, and service providers prevent femicide. High-risk factor. History of abuse. Femicide is rarely a random act and often occurs after repeated patterns of intimidating and controlling behaviors and physical and sexual violence. Abusers often try to isolate their victims from family, friends, and other support networks. This makes it harder for the victim to seek help and increases the risk of severe violence. Actual or pending separation. Women are most at risk of being killed or seriously harmed during or immediately after separation from their abuser. Separation is particularly dangerous when the abuser has been highly controlling during the relationship and continues or escalates violence following separation in an attempt to get back control or punish the woman. More than 50% of femicide victims are killed in the first 2 months after separation. Access to weapons. In Canada, 34% of femicide victims were killed by stabbing with a knife. A woman is 5 times more likely to be murdered when her abuser has access to a gun. Even when a weapon is not discharged, abusers often use the gun to coerce, threaten, and terrorize the women, causing enormous psychological damage. Pregnancy. Pregnancy can often be a risky period for intimate partner violence, as many women report that abuse started or intensified when they became pregnant, especially if the pregnancy was not planned. 5% of the femicide victims are murdered while pregnant. Strangulation. Strangulation is putting pressure on the neck to cut off air or blood flow to the brain. The Canadian federal government updated the criminal code in 2019 to add strangulation to the definition of assault with a weapon or causing bodily harm. Now, abusers can be charged specifically for assault by strangulation. Research has shown that, globally, strangulation is the second most common method used by men to kill women, following stabbing. Uncontrolled substance use. Assaults in abusive relationships are more likely to occur when the abuser is intoxicated. 40% of intimate partner femicide is related to the use of drugs and alcohol. Threats to kill. Any statement made to the victim or others with the intention of instilling fear about the victim's safety is considered a high-risk factor. These threats may be communicated in person, through written messages, or left on an answering machine. Examples of such threats include phrases like, "I'm going to kill you," "You're going to pay for what you did," "If I can't have you, nobody can," or "I'm going to get you." Threats or attempts of suicide. Femicide often occurs after the abuser expresses intentions of suicide. This may include actions like giving away possessions or making comments such as, "I can't live without you," or "The world would be better off without me." Statistics show that 20% of deaths related to intimate partner violence also include the perpetrator's suicide. Obsessive and jealousy behavior. This happens when the perpetrator is overly fixated on the victim, exhibiting behaviors like stalking, following, spying, recurring phone calls, or showering them with excessive gifts. This behavior can range from sulking when the woman interacts with another man and isolating her to prevent her from going out alone, to unfounded accusations of infidelity and extreme violence if he suspects dishonesty about her relationships with other men. Loss of employment. Loss of employment and financial stress can strain the relationship, leading to more frequent arguments or conflicts. The stress of not being able to provide financially might make the abuser feel humiliated or inadequate, further fueling their aggression. If the abuser is already prone to violent behavior, these situations can escalate quickly, putting the victim at greater risk of femicide.
Section 2. Respond. If you believe a friend is in danger because of an abusive partner, it is important to act carefully and compassionately. Carefully help your friend recognize the risks they may be facing. Share information about high-risk factors and the possibility of the situation escalating into lethal violence. Encourage them to take these threats seriously. Select each of the boxes to view potential ways of supporting a woman in a violent relationship where her life may be in danger. Show non-judgmental support. Avoid making assumptions or judgments about their experience. Instead, offer support and reassurance. Be aware of your nonverbal communication. Assess immediate safety. You may recognize some of the high-risk factors in a friend's relationship. Find a time to talk to her when she is calm and alone. If she is considering leaving the abuser, offer your support and reassure her that you are there for her. Leaving an abusive situation is one of the most dangerous times for her, making it essential that she has a strong support system. Encourage reaching out for help. If she is open to it, encourage her to seek help from trained service providers. These professionals can help her develop a personalized safety plan and review it regularly, as abusive situations and associated risks can change rapidly. Service providers are trained to help a woman make a safety plan for herself. These professionals are experienced in helping women develop effective safety strategies. Encourage your friend to practice how she would respond in various scenarios, such as being followed or confronted by the abuser in public. Rehearsing these actions can help her respond quickly and confidently if they find themselves in danger. In an emergency, call 911. You can share some tips that might help the woman stay safer while living with her abuser. Keep in mind that not all suggestions will be suitable for every situation. Tell her that she is the best judge of what actions are safe for her to try at home. Avoid confrontation. Do not confront the abusive partner, as this could escalate the situation and put everyone at greater risk. Safety tips. You can also share some tips that may keep the woman safer while living with the abuser. Not all tips may apply to every woman's situation. Tell her that she is the best judge of what she can try at home. Identify a safe place to go. Encourage your friend to identify safe places they can go if they need to leave quickly, such as a trusted friend's home, a shelter, or a public location like a hospital. Discuss strategies for leaving the home quickly and discreetly, such as knowing the quickest exit routes or keeping a spare key accessible. If possible, suggest that she keep her car fueled and ready to go. Pack an emergency bag. Encourage her to pack a small bag with essential items and important documents, and store it at your house. These documents might include identifications, bank cards, financial records related to family assets, keys, medication, photos of the abuser and her children, passports, health cards, a personal address or phone book, legal documents such as immigration papers, rental information, restraining orders, and peace bonds. Establish a code word. Develop a secret word or signal that she can use to alert you or a trusted person to call the police if abuse is happening. Choose a simple and easy-to-remember code that can be casually incorporated into a conversation without raising suspicion. Ensure that everyone familiar with the code understands what action to take when they hear it, whether it's contacting the police, going to your friend's location, or meeting at a designated safe place. Keep important numbers accessible. Encourage them to memorize at least 1 or 2 important phone numbers in case their phone is lost or taken by the abuser. Pre-program emergency contacts into their phone for easy access, and ensure these numbers are saved under names that won't raise suspicion, such as hairdresser or student advisor. Remind them to regularly clear the call history on their phone to reduce risk in case the abuser looks through it. In an emergency, always call 911. Add digital safety guards. Digital safety is also vital, as abusers may monitor phones, computers, or social media accounts. Suggest that your friend change passwords for important accounts, email, social media, online banking, and enable two-factor authentication. If they suspect their devices are being monitored, recommend using a different device to seek help, such as a classmate's phone or a library computer.
Section 3. Refer. Local resources. Provide her with information about available emotional, medical, and legal support. If possible, offer to contact the service on her behalf, and/or accompany her to the appointment. You can call Good to Talk. They have various ways to help college students in Ontario and Nova Scotia. Talk to a professional counselor. You can contact a professional counselor 24/7 by calling 1-866-925-5454. Text with a volunteer crisis responder. You can contact a trained, volunteer crisis responder 24/7 by texting Good to Talk into 686868. Get virtual support via Facebook Messenger. You can contact a trained, volunteer crisis responder 24/7 by using the Facebook website or the Messenger app. Search for campus and community services. Find the mental health and well-being resources nearest to you on and off campus. Police. It is important to understand that in Canada, the police are here to help, as many newcomers may have had negative experiences with law enforcement in their country of origin. When you call 911, the police will respond, intervene, and conduct a thorough investigation. Upon arrival, police will gather evidence and obtain statements. If reasonable grounds exist that determine an offense has occurred, they will lay charges against the abuser. This is to protect the victim from further abuse. If the abuser is not present, attempts will be made to locate and arrest the accused. Once a charge has been filed, it cannot be withdrawn by either the police or the victim. If the woman has sustained injuries, officers will help her seek medical attention and will document the scene, injuries, and any property damage through photographs. Emergency shelters. Emergency shelters provide security for women and their children fleeing violence. To find support in your local area, call the Assaulted Women's Helpline 1-888-951-3922. It offers 24/7 crisis counseling and referrals to shelters, legal advice, and other help. Support is available in over 200 different languages. Online resources. Download and share a handout on recognizing the high risk factors for femicide. English, French, Korean, Punjabi, Chinese, Spanish, Vietnamese. For more information and resources in helping immigrant or refugee women living in abusive situations, visit the Neighbors, Friends and Families website at www.immigrantanrefugienff.ca. When you see abuse, don't ignore it. Do something about it. Costi Immigrant Services would like to thank its partners for their participation. Community Family Services of Ontario. Costi International Students Connect. Costi Family and Mental Health Services. For You Telecare Services. Vietnamese Association of Toronto.